Hi everybody out there in YouTube land, welcome back to our continuing series of how to start a window cleaning business right here in Australia. This is part 8, how to succeed at quoting on residential properties. And I'm sure you're going to find this really fascinating as you start your business and deal with the sometimes scary aspect of quoting for people's homes. So let's get right stuck into the information. Now before we get started, let me just show you a little clip, just a minute and a bit, of a number of different residential properties that I've done in recent times. That will help you to see that housing is unconventional. It's rare that we're operating our business in an area that's all cookie cutter. They're all the same style of homes. You just know what you're going to be in for when you quote in that particular area. Most of us will see that our neighbourhood or the areas that we're going to quote, the homes are quite different from place to place. So watch this and see what you think. So as you can see, they come in all shapes and sizes. So what tips can we discuss that will help you succeed at quoting for residential properties? Well, one of the key things, let's think about what we talked about when quoting for commercial properties, is keeping close in mind the operational costs of your business. Remember what some of those things were? If you haven't had a look at that video, it'd be well worthwhile. These are the variety of things you can see here on the screen. Insurances, the operation of your vehicle, materials, equipment, wages, all sorts of things like that. You've got to think about if your business is at a size where you're going to send an employee, what do you factor in there with wages, his insurance, his superannuation. They're all operational costs for your business. What does it cost you to hire a bookkeeper? What does it cost to source the equipment that you need? Things like that. So that means that you need to have in mind, and it's for your business operational costs, what your business, not what you charge as a person, what your business factors in as an hourly rate that covers all of those operational costs that you saw there on the screen. So having that in mind will help you when you arrive at the premises ready to look at the quote, because you need to think, how long is this job going to take me? What's involved with this job? So you've come to the front door and there's Mrs. Jones. She's opened the door and she's welcoming you in to come and look at her property. First question that you need to ask Mrs. Jones. Hey, Mrs. Jones, would you prefer that I take my shoes off as you take me around? Now what does that tell her? That you have respect for her home. Because let's face it, the fact that she's invited you, a total stranger, into her home to show you around shows a measure of trust. You have to view it as a privilege. If she hires you, you're going to be in her home for a number of hours. You need to have already demonstrated respect in how you interact with her when you come and do the quote. So keep that in mind. Now here are some questions that are very important to ask, because she may have called you and say, hey, Duncan, can you, or Billy, hey, I needed my windows cleaned, and that wasn't really enough information. You need to ask, such as, would you like the internal windows cleaned as well, all the internal glass? What about cleaning the tracks of the sliding windows and the sliding doors? Would you like all your security screens and security screen doors washed down as well? Yeah, okay. All right, now, what else would you like done? By the way, would your neighbour like the job done as well? Would she like a quote? I could possibly bring the price down for your place and her place if you do it both on the same day. Okay, see what you're planning there in her mind? When you're walking around, you need to look for a number of different things. For example, if they have sliding windows that have security screens on the outside, and you're going to have to lift that sliding window out to clean the externals, you need to check, is there something blocking that? Sometimes the Venetians or the blinds, the plantation shutters that they've installed, will limit your ability to get that window out so that you can clean the external side of it. So you need to think now, what's another method of cleaning that glass through the screen? So there's those aspects. Think about too, not only as you're going around that you can remove those sliding windows, but where will you clean them? Where are there ceramic tiles on which you can put a towel and then place the window so that you can clean it? Think about that. That way you can discuss that with Mrs. Jones in the process of telling her how you'll complete the task. Look for any louvers, banks of louvers, because they may see that as just one window, but there's 26 individual glass louvers, and some homes have hundreds of louvers. You have to think about how you're going to clean those and any screens that are outside those louvers. Note too, to see if it's an older house, whether there has been window tint retrofitted to the glass. That's important, because if there's some scratches in the tint, you need to point that out to the householder before you quote, so that she doesn't think you put that there when you cleaned it and then she's asking you to pay for its replacement. Now that doesn't happen very often, but you need to make sure you have an eye for those details. Is there a crack in the glass? Point it out to her as you walk around with the quote, because then you're not responsible for that crack that's in the glass. She can't hold you responsible when you're cleaning the job. What happened there? Well, why is that crack? Why is that scratched? So you've already pointed those things out to her. As you walk around the outside, look to see where would you plug in your pure water system for the windows that require pure water cleaning on the externals. Now on the internal, I'll show you that in a little while when I go through some of the pictures of recent homes. Some of the crank out windows, as they call them, or wind out, they will have a screen on the inside. Now some have just a fly screen that will pop off. Others have security screens that are fixed. How am I going to get to the internal part of that window? Analyze it. That will affect your pricing. Now another thing to discuss with the householder as you're walking around doing the quote is talking about any add-on jobs. She may not have thought of the fact that, you do pressure washing? What about this pathway? What about the pavers around the swimming pool? Would you like me to include that? Would you like the eaves washed down before we do the windows? Can we provide a house wash if that's an add-on service that you're looking at incorporating into your business? What about cleaning the gutters? Now you might think a double story, I'm not climbing that high, but a single story, I can put a ladder up, clean the gutters, I can add that to the package. And so sometimes people will ask for those added jobs as an extra line item so they can see the total, but if they take one out and just get everything else done, they know also what the price is. So you can itemize that on the quote. What about the pool glass fencing? What about the fencing the glass on the balustrade, the glass balustrades on the stairwell going upstairs, or the stairway going upstairs, or on the front and back balconies. See, all of those things, you want to incorporate that. Now, you have to try and get all of that clear, because you don't want her to say, when you're doing the job, oh, could you add this on? Could you just do that for me? Could you just do that for me? Things that would have inflated the price slightly. But now, because you didn't discuss it, you feel obligated to do it for free. So they're all the kind of things that you need to consider as you're walking around the home with the householder and looking at what she wants accomplished with this task. So have it clear in mind, and clear in mind what questions to discuss with her. Another aspect to consider is the frequency. Is this a one-off clean? Are they cleaning it because it's an end of lease, rental lease, and they're moving out, moving interstate? Last time you'll ever talk to this person. Are they selling the house, and so this is a clean prior to all the photos and videos from the real estate agent? Or is this going to be a regular job? So could you think about a price initially with a $20, $30 reduction when you're doing it every 3 months? You see, they're the things that you can consider, and that will assist. So all of those things are important with regard to residential quoting. Now, for the next few minutes, I'm just going to show you some photos of places that I did research. And these photos will highlight things to look out for, okay, that we talked about. So this first one, single level home, you notice here in the front window, this is the main lounge, okay? You've got the security screens. So on this window, when I quoted on this home, I checked the tracks. I had a look to see how much cleaning was required. I wanted to make sure that the sliding windows lifted out, and I wanted to make sure I could see where to put the sliding windows so that I could clean them, what areas. If it's all carpet, you'll have to take them outside to clean. You have to think about all that. So that's the first one, okay? Now this second place was a 3-story apartment townhouse style place right on the Brisbane River. The only water source for pure water cleaning, and I had some pure water cleaning, some pretty high stuff, was right here at the front door. You see there, just next to the car? And then I had to run my hose down a pathway and over a back fence and into the pool area and so forth. But you need to find that out beforehand, because if there is no tap, and it's going to be difficult to plug in your pure water source, then you have to think, how are we going to accomplish this job? So I had to look out for that. Now, in this next picture, this was a house that was close to home. It took me a good day and a half to complete this job, this house. But you see these windows here on this picture, they're what I called crank out or wind out windows. And I had to check, which I did as I went round, whether the internal screens would come out. Now, if they didn't, if they were security and they were locked in, I would have to wind that window out, put a ladder up, clean the inside part of that window, get back down. Can you see how much harder it was going to be if those screens didn't come out? So you need to know that when you're providing the quote. Now, this next one is interesting. You see how it's got a very peaked roof, okay? And those 2 windows at the top there, it's obviously you're not going to get up there on the roof. So forget that idea. Putting a ladder up was quite difficult because of a retaining wall just down on the ground. So the only way I could clean the sliding window, which incidentally wouldn't lift out, was by opening the screen, which was on a hinge, and let it flap in the wind, open it from the inside, race down, and then pure water the sliding window and fixed panel. But I had to learn what was involved here, and you have to then factor that in to your job. So that's one of the few times I've come across that kind of window and that kind of security screen. Now this last one is that one I mentioned early on, that one close to home with the internal screens. This also had a multitude of louvers. So looking at the louvers, because it faced the ocean, there was a lot of salt, and dirt on the windows. So just pure water feeding it from the outside had no effect on the cleaning. So I had to work from the inside. So how many louvers? Does she want the glass ones and the wooden ones cleaned, or just the glass ones? You don't want to be embarking on cleaning the wooden ones if she doesn't want that done. See, so you need to ask the questions. What would you like, Mrs. Jones, for these windows here? What are you looking forward to me accomplishing? I'll give you some idea as to what to do. So in review, what can we learn? Well, take your time at quoting. Don't rush it. Have a good look at the home. Get a good mental picture as to what's involved with completing the window cleaning task that they've clearly detailed to you they want done. So you're clear in your mind what jobs are being accomplished. Drive away and think about it for a little while, what that would cost, what price you're going to give. And think about it as you're filling out the details on your quoting software that you can then email to her, to Mr. Jones, Mrs. Jones, whoever it is, with all the information. And make sure that it's clear that you've itemised in detail. You can see here that I've put up some of the things that I put on the quote, so that they know exactly what they're getting for that price. And then don't fear, remember at that point, do not fear failure. The reality is, no matter how careful you are, how much you think about it, what kind of presentation, your price won't be there, in their budget. Doesn't matter. There'll be plenty of people who'll just appreciate what you bring to the task at hand. So present it, send it to them, do a follow-up. How did we go? Did you get the quote? Any questions that you have about that? And then move on to the next place. And you'll start to get a momentum with regard to quoting residentially. You'll find that you'll be more successful than you'll fail. And the confidence that grows as a result of that will be immeasurable, and it will certainly help your business in its startup phase. So once again, it's been great to talk to you about and share those experiences with you. When I think back to the very first place that I quoted, I can't believe I did that house for that price. No wonder they picked me. Unbelievable. But that was me. And I can remember when I'm cleaning the house thinking, why did I quote that price? But you learn from it. You move on. And if I was to quote that house now, it would be double or more. But we learn. And that's the wonderful thing about this, is that you will continually grow in your skill level at this aspect of quoting for residential properties. So if you've enjoyed this, don't forget to subscribe, hit the subscribe button. There's also that bell at the YouTube, say hit that, because then you'll get notified when we have new videos to our channel. If you've loved it, please share it with people. If you've got any questions, don't hesitate to direct message me through my Instagram page. There it is, at McRae's Window Cleaning, and hit the direct message button. Send any questions you have. If you're in Australia, of course, you can find my phone number on the profile page, and I'm happy to take some calls if I can help you get your business started and succeed at this great industry of window cleaning. So till next time, we look forward to seeing you. Take good care, and we'll see you around.